Hey people, I'm Inko, and today we are going underground. Way deep underground. Or rather, we're bringing the underground to us, all the way to Wonderland. I am of course referring to American McGee's Alice, created by the one and only American McGee. Some backstory. The year being 1992, American McGee would one day fall into the loving arms of the stoic John Carmack and id Software. Canadian McGee would work on Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake, making big money alongside everyone at id. But unfortunately, Mexican McGee would be fired from id. Rumors have it that he was sabotaged by a co-worker to make shitty levels, which angered the almighty Carmack. Now, without the backing of id, Brazilian McGee wandered until 1998, and he stumbled at the doorstep of EA Games. But not the EA we know now, the pre-Ultimate Team EA. There, he was given a free ride to do whatever he wanted until he was inspired by a song to create the grim version of the already grim Alice in Wonderland. And thus, Argentinian McGee began to work to create American McGee's Alice. I have a fair amount of respect for developers who aren't shy about putting their name in front of their game. Sid Meier's comes to mind, Bennett Foddy's Getting Over It, John Romero too, for better or worse, and the shining light above them being obviously Dino Dini's Kickoff Revival. The thing about putting your name on the title of your game is the fact that you become solely responsible for it and any reception it gets. So if your game isn't very good, people can stand up and go hardy har har, Clive Baker doesn't know how to make a fucking game. Unfortunately, when Alice was released, I was suffering from a terrible affliction known as being unborn. And when it was remastered alongside Madness Returns, I had not gained sentience yet. So there will be not a single ounce of nostalgia from me in this review. Getting a hold of the copy of a game was quite difficult, as the game no longer is sold, nor is it compatible on Windows 10. So to get a copy, you have to do some semi-legal downloads and get it. This is not me advocating for piracy, it's me encouraging it. Now, the game. I did not enjoy it. In fact, I would say is the single most worst experience I've ever had in a video game. Behind, of course, it's old, filled with jank, strange and floaty controls, bad collisions, absurd difficulty, and very bafflingly bad game design. Before I make my case as to why this game sucks nuts and ass, allow me to present to you why this might just be the best game ever made. Puerto Rican McGee's Alice is a technical sequel to the original Alice in Wonderland books, and if you haven't read them, don't worry, neither have I. In the most natural progression to these books, Alice is crippled over grief and survivor's guilt after having seen her family die in a horrible fire, so she slips into a comatose state for many years, until one day she descends back to Wonderland. Wonderland, now a dark and horrific rendition of it, where everything hates you for being alive. And that is where the strengths of the game lie. If you were to lose an eye, get pepper sprayed, and squint really hard, you would notice just how great the environments are 20 years later. There's a level of surrealism not found in most games nowadays that encapsulates the environments of Alice. There's dark and cramped spaces, but also wide open areas, both of which give different feelings of being trapped. The lack of skyboxes really make it seem like you're in a dimension far away from anything that might resemble a human. In a way, it's claustrophobic, as you are rarely given the chance to breathe. But in other sections, such as the forest, its size is overwhelming. Levels tend to blend seamlessly as you transport from caves to castles to a monochrome chessboard town with strange mechanical prison.
A lot of my enjoyment for this game came from the platforming puzzles that blended with the environments. When it comes to exploration, I like when its levels aren't so obvious that they're from a video game. No yellow covered ledges, floating platforms, or button prompts. That's what Alice does. You figure out where to go by exploring the map. The levels are kind of linear but never restrictive, although Alice's jump is a bit floaty and unresponsive. You have to mash the spacebar a couple times before she decides to jump. The collision detection is a bit fucked too, but that doesn't detract too much from this fever dream of a world. Unfortunately, British McGee's Alice wants to be an action platformer, so the map is riddled with tons of enemies, meaning you have to deal with the combat, or to emphasize, the fucking combat. It seems that all the enemies have been mathematically designed to be as annoying as possible. I honestly had to think hard which enemy I hated the most. Maybe these banshee dudes who yell and throw you off the map, or these knights who spam hearts, or the priests. But I'm pretty sure the one I hated the most is the fish, because it likes to hide underwater, meaning that you have to deal with swimming in this game. Also, it does a bunch of damage, and managing to kill it feels like swatting a bee with a couple of chopsticks. That, and if you're fighting the lava version of the fish, it has the ability to stretch its tongue into your ass and pull you into the lava, killing you instantly. Insta-kills tend to happen, though not really insta-kills, more like you die instantly because a number of enemies swarm you, or they take pot shots at you while you're climbing and have no way of seeing anything, so you have to abuse the quick save system. If you quick save in the wrong spot, have fun reloading your previous save, fucko. Because of this quick save system, this makes the boss fights ridiculously easy, which is weird considering this game is constantly fucking with you. Simply quick save after healing a little bit and take it from there. Easy as shaving your balls. There's a fair amount of weapon variety, half of them being useless of course, the others being situational. But for the most part, the majority of the weapons you use magic points, so they tend to use too much magic for too little an effect. The playing cards come to mind, ranged, yes, and powerful, but they run out too quickly. Your main weapon, the Vorpal blade, doesn't feel very good to use. For a knife, it feels like you're whacking things with a plastic bat covered in foam while having both your arms broken. You can throw it of course, but that leaves you without a weapon for a fair amount of time. Then you got a dildo that freezes things and turns the game into easy mode. Everything freezes and you get your health back. That is, until the ice runs out and you're left without a weapon. And even then, it's not terribly fun to use, just the most effective. Not to mention there's a lag between every attack Alice does. All of that would have been well and good, if not for the fact that French McGee's Alice is constantly throwing enemies at you. But what really makes me hate this game, what really puts a penis in my sauce, if you will, is the fact that Alice does not have a way to defend herself. There is no block button, and there's no dodge. To add further to that, Alice seems to have a hitbox the size of the entire map, as enemies will hit you even when their attack is nowhere in your direction. So melee weapons are now even more useless, because you're gonna get hit no matter what you do. That's the whole game. You can't avoid damage, and this creates the most infuriating situations as you waddle one shit encounter to the next, getting killed by all sorts of dumb fuckery. Soon enough, even the joy I got from the environments began to fade, as levels began to devolve into linear paths leading you to more and more combat. But wait, you might say, this game takes many hints from horror games. What if you're not supposed to fight? Well, to that I would respond with a punch to the dick, because you are forced to fight. At first, that's what I thought I was doing wrong, playing the game like an action game, and I should focus on the survival horror mechanics, except that there are none. You can't hide nor avoid enemies, meaning you have to fight. I honestly feel like this game would have been better as a platformer survival horror instead of an action game. Alice leaves me conflicted. On one hand, there are definitely things that should be praised. The voice acting for one. While it is muddled and the audio quality isn't great, trust me, I would know. Just listen to me on the last video. The voice performances are entertaining.
Terrible danger.
I saw her captured. I'm sorry.
Without her generalship, Red Winds, we're doomed.
As am I if I can't pass through this realm. I must collect the pieces to the Jabberwock's eye staff.
Free the White Queen, Alice. That would help us both.
I'm not really a player. What are the rules?
It's what's-her-name from the neurotics ward. Nurse's favourite lunatic.
Posh British accents like reading a play or a classical novel. And of course, the Eagle has the American accent.
Let us right the wrongs of this world together.
Alice's voice rides on the almost annoying but cute enough line, which is jarring contrasted with her blood-curdling scream she does whenever she dies. As for the story, who the hell knows what's going on there? I gave up trying to figure it out when the big worm started taking fat vape hits. But I suppose that's my issue. My enjoyment for the game was superficial, only for its visuals and its weirdness. But on the other hand, I just can't stand to play this game. Am I wrong for bashing a game that is literally older than me, that despite its many flaws still manages to be impressive graphically? And perhaps the gameplay can be forgiving considering the time it came out. Nope, can't excuse it. But maybe that's the point. Alice is stuck in a world of her own making, unable to escape her own torments, much less defend herself against them. So in a way, its striking difficulty is a metaphor for mental health and how powerless we can be against the malice of our own thoughts. And through perseverance, we can indeed break out of our own wonderland, become free and happy again. Or maybe it's a badly designed garble shit from the rectum of American Magoo's mind. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, 9 out of 10, this game sucks.